Yeah, congratulations on making the top four at the FACEIT Major. First of all, tell me about the game. Complexity made it 3-0 out of the group, but they were still considered the underdogs. Did they surprise you in any way? Were you prepared for the game as a whole, considering they were, somewhat of an unknown here?
Well, first of all, thank you. And I feel for them. I think they've definitely been a surprise because even if you say like, oh, the teams they beat, they didn't do so well, but I mean, team like Complexity wasn't really proven that much at a stage like this. So for them to get those wins has been a feat, and that's just the major. Best of ones. You do your job well. Like you get to play people that you draw. I mean, you can't blame Complexity for playing the teams they played, and obviously you could tell their Inferno is pretty strong. Like they've done a really good job on that map. So for us, once we saw the draw, obviously it's kind of the quote-unquote easiest opponent you can get out of everyone else. So we were just very confident for us. Once we made it to the new champion stage, it didn't really matter as much because the pressure was off of kind of making top 8, and we knew we could just focus on playing our own game, and we knew it's going to be a different tournament for us once it gets to this stage.
How were you able to counter them so well, especially Shazam, who was their star player in this tournament, but you held him to basically nothing in this game? He was kind of subpar. So yeah, how did you manage to do that?
Yeah, well, generally on train, we just knew the spots they play. We didn't really focus on countering them at all. We were just playing our own game and looking at the things we need to change about our own game because we played train recently, so we knew people are going to look at it against NIP and against Astralis, so we made some tweaks for that, so we're not as easily countered. And I think they started off playing a bit scared on train, so that didn't help. And then when it came to Inferno, it was a bit different because we started with having control and we were making some mistakes, and they started capitalizing on it. So it was only that I was telling the team about how he plays on maybe CT side Inferno, in a sense that he likes to move around a lot, and that when they leave in B, he is usually there alone and they like to play 4A. But other than that, we weren't really targeting any individual on their team.
Yeah, and there were a couple of clutches there in the first half of Inferno that you lost, and in a team that prides itself on being some of the best players in clutch situations. Did that affect the players in any way? Were they eager to compensate in the second half?
Yeah, for us, the situation was basically, I think that's how the players felt as well. It shouldn't have came to the clutch at all, right? Because we had like a 5v3 in the reset round. It's kind of one of the most important rounds in the game at 3-1, and we managed to lose that one, made some mistakes. And then when it comes to the clutch, sure, they played it well in those situations, and also it was mostly towards A, so it's kind of hard to really retake A. There's so many angles you need to worry about. So sure, we would have loved to have gotten a bit more of those on the CT side, but I think the one we got on the T side, with Fallen and Fur, that kind of compensated for all the clutches we lost in the first half.
You've been kind of up and down in this tournament so far. I mean, you beat Mousesports very convincingly, but lost to Astralis, obviously, 16-0. So how are you going to prevent such a fall or drop-off against a team like Navi?
Yeah, I think mostly our falls happen when we either overthink our game plan in some situations, or we just don't play our own game for whatever reason, where the players are maybe a bit more stressed than usual. So I think for us coming into the Navi game is okay. It's a great opponent. Like, they have amazing players on their team. They're a veteran team, but so are we. I mean, everything I said about them, same thing applies for us. So we just need to play our own game, like not try to do anything super crazy compared to how we played in practice and how we like to play in general. And if that happens, like, it's for sure going to be a good game. And then the end result, you can't really have any regrets.
You mentioned overthinking there. Navi are one of the most tactical teams out there, especially at the top. So are you going to spend more time on thinking about what they are going to do, or are you just going to stick to what you are used to do?
I think Navi's play style is pretty straightforward in a sense. They play very well around their star players. They like to forced by a lot because they have a lot of individual skill on the team that they can make that happen. Their trading, spacing is really good. Their team play is really strong, and they like to put themselves in situations where they can take advantage of it as much as they can in a game. So for us, it's about being disciplined and focused, not giving anything to them for free. And we are again going to look more towards us and try to figure out the maps that are most likely going to be played and see if we need to make any tweaks to our own game coming into Saturday.